All right. Hello. Welcome back, ladies. Welcome back to Powerfully Her. And in this episode, we're going to talk about effective communication and what effective communication really is and how you can incorporate it in your life because you deserve it, queen. I'll see you on the inside. Episode 22. Hey, queens. How you doing? Hi, how you doing? How's it going? I hope you're doing well. It is episode 22. Episode 22. We are doing it. We are going strong. I am so excited. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful for you showing up for you. And let's get into it. So, episode 22, Proudly Her. We are talking about effective communication. Effective communication. And why? Because it's necessary. And why? Because it's missing in the world. And why? Because we need it. Okay. But before we get to that, I would like to get the actual definition of it. So, effective communication is the exchange of information, thoughts, and emotions where the message is sent and received and understood by the audience exactly as intended. It goes beyond merely delivering information to ensure the audience comprehends the so what and can act upon it. Key elements include active listening, clarity, nonverbal cues, and emotional intelligence. Whoa. Now, I want you to think about, queens, times in your life where those things were completely missing, where the listening, clarity, emotional intelligence were missing. We've all experienced moments where that has happened, and we ourselves have done that to other people where we might not have been listening. We might not have been clear in things. We are lacking emotional intelligence. That has happened to all of us. And to sit up there and say, like, no, that's never been me. I am perfect communication. That's not true. We all sometimes fall short when it comes to communication. And why is, number one, sometimes we are not taught how to effectively communicate. And number two, we are stuck on ourselves. We're not doing the inner work to be like, you know what, that wasn't cool what I just said. What I said, that wasn't right. We are not reflecting enough on ourselves and the other person or other people that we're talking to and communicate. Because sometimes talking and effective communication are two different things. Talking is just the words that are just coming out your mouth. That's just these words. Babies, like I said in episode 21, children don't know effective communication. We need to be taught. But sometimes a lot of us weren't taught because the past generation, sometimes they weren't taught. And it was really hard, really back in the day, really, really hard. So, I give grace to that. However, it's like, come on now, we have to, we're in this together. We all need to know how to effectively communicate with one another. It's very important. And the number one thing to effectively communicating is listening. You got to listen. We have to listen. We have to be able to slow down and be like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me just take this all in. Let me actually listen, to understand, not to respond, not to wait. I got to get on everything they said, and then I got to be able to bite back. That's not effectively communicating because number one, there is no clarity. You're not listening, and you're lacking emotional intelligence. What is that? And I don't want to be all philosophical about it, and I don't want to be like, you're coming from a psychologist point of view. Not like that. I want us to be real with one another and be real with ourselves, right, queen? And we know, as women, that we know how to cut it up. I know that you do, because I do too. We women have a way with words. We are the master of that. We could build you up and bring you down. We know that. Don't get on our bad side. And if you're on our good side, it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's special. Everything's great, right? But then sometimes we're like, oh, you did me dirty. Okay, I got you. I see you. And so it's about effectively communicating how we want to be treated, right? This is why I remember Peace and Her Power. That's episode 21 they're all so connected because you have to be able to speak up for yourself, right? There's peace in that. That's power. But that's why that's effective communication. We have to speak up, but we have to start listening. And then listen first to what God wants. Because when there's all this noise, you can't possibly hear him. You can't. And that's one thing we have to know. And it's so funny. I just saw a video earlier and on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. And the gentleman was saying that we need to know boredom. Like, we've allowed ourselves to constantly be inundated with being busy all the time. Like a 1 minute of silence is like, we can't do it. The only time we have silence is when we're sleeping, right? And that's not good, because it's not giving us enough time to think and to ponder and to wonder and to really find your purpose. And that's a listening part too, because you're like, let me slow it down. And you can't listen to God's voice. You can't listen to his voice. You can't hear God's voice if there's so much noise. You can't. There's no way. So that's why we have to get back to our natural, and we have to slow things down and be still and listen. Listen to God's words. Listen to what God is saying. And when you do that, you will find peace, and you'll be able to develop and understand what you need to do, because you got to go back to him. We got to listen to God, because God is the one that's got our back. He's the one that's truly got us, right? So get right with him. And then in that, when you're listening to God, you will start to listen to yourself. What do I want? What do you want, Queen? What do you want for your life? What do you want for your loved ones? What are your dreams? What do you want? Think about that. And that's why effective communication is so important, because we think it's just chat, talk. You ever see someone where they talk all the time? It's called drivel. They talk all the time, and whatever they're talking about means nothing. It's like foam on the ocean. There is no substance to whatever they're saying. They are always talking. I remember when I was in my previous field, I saw there was a coworker of mine, and I kid you not, no matter whatever time of day, they were always on the phone with somebody. I'm like, how are you at 2 a.m.? Who do you have to talk to at 2 a.m.? No matter what time it was, this person always was talking to somebody. Or one time years ago, I was going to get gas, and the gas attendant was always on the phone with somebody. And again, it could be difference in time zone, so I need to think about that. But it's just like, there's always someone that's just talking, and it's like, is the talking going anywhere? Is it making us better? And I'm not saying we can't have a little gossip, a little tea, something here and there. That's fine. But you don't want that to be your world. You don't want to just always just be talking. You want to be able to effectively communicate. And the number one thing is listening to God first, and listening to yourself, and listen to others when they're talking to you. Have that emotional intelligence to understand how people feel, and understand how you feel and what you want. Pay attention to those cues, those social cues. Wow, this person's not feeling this good. Maybe, oh, wow, I just said something, not forgetting that this person is going through something similar or going through a tough time. Let me refrain from me saying what I need to say and my happy news, because this person is going through a really miserable time right now. It's one of those things. And it's not like, well, they always going through something, like, you know what I mean? No, it's just that have the emotional intelligence. You like maybe share later, or maybe not share with that person because they're going through something rough, because you would want it done to you. You would want someone to reflect and be like, wait, hold up. Let me not share my good news right now because this person's going through a tough time. So let me not do that. Let me not do that. That's effective communication. Caring about each other. Effective communication is essentially just caring about each other. That's it. I see you, you see me. I care about you, you care about me. That's what it is. Each one teach one. I got your back. You scrap my back, I scrap yours. This is what it is. Understanding each other, listening to one another, reflecting on one another, listening, understanding, having that emotional intelligence to say maybe not right now, or maybe I need to take action on something because something's happening. I need to take action. Great. But having that emotional intelligence, like, wait a minute, let me pay attention to this scene. And when you discipline yourself and we get really good at listening to God and then listening to yourself, it'll be really easy to navigate that, because then clarity comes. That's where the clarity, like it said in the definition, clarity comes after that, which is wonderful, because once the clarity comes in, you're like, oh, right? Because now you really understand. And this is something I unpack with my clients. This is something that I do. I help high achieving professional women. I help women entrepreneurs with this thing right here, because believe it or not, it's a struggle. Effective communication is a struggle. It's a struggle in our personal lives, with our spouses, with our significant others, with our children, with our family members. It is a struggle, effective communication in our jobs and our businesses. Is it effective communication is difficult with our health and how we show up with ourselves? Effective communication, communication or lack thereof, all of them, with listening to God or showing up to God. That's all of those things. And that's what I help my clients do. And this is what something I would like to invite you to is a live event, Queen, a live event where I teach you what I learned to get myself to where I am now, to be a strong, effective communicator. Because as a communication strategist, I understand, especially as a woman, how difficult it could be for us. I get it. I know. And sometimes just leaving it all in and not expressing ourselves and just like, this is the way it is. This is the way it's supposed to be, just accepting it. And I'm like, no, this is wrong. Something feels wrong. It feels off. And this is what I help women do so they can have lives that they're proud of and the success and the joy and the peace in her power, right? To have a life that you want. Because when a woman's at peace, the world's at peace. Remember that. So Queen, when you're at peace, the world's at peace. And that's what you really want. And that's what you're after. And I get it. And I hear you. And I would love for you to show up for you to this live event. Because let me tell you something. AI can't give you that. AI can't give you that. It cannot. We can type of whatever we want to ChatGPT, to Claude, to Gemini, whatever. It has its place. I'm not mad at it. But it definitely doesn't have the human element. It can't give you this. Even if they try to decoy your body and AI your image, it's still not you. The warmth, the love, the humanness is not there. You feel it. The other episode before, you see me wiping my nose. You're not going to get that with AI. It's just going to be all perfect. That's not life. That's not life. Life is real. Life is happening. And you need to be able to have someone who's like, not only have I been there, I know how you feel and I see you and I can help you and I can show you the way. And that's a beautiful thing about community and support and coaching and having those that have been there. I have been there to show you the way. So I would love for you to show up to this live event for you, Queen, for you, because it's about time you start showing up for you. And the link is in the list below, at the bottom below. So you just click the link and I will see you at the live event because you are the event. Remember that, you're the event. But back to our video, it all ties into one, effective communication. That's the thing, the clarity that comes into play. And that's what you want, Queen. You want the clarity. You want things to be as clear as day. You're like, oh, wait a minute. That's what that was about. Huh. That's what I need to work on. Huh. That's what they really meant. Huh. You know what I mean? It really paints a picture very clearly. And then everywhere you go, you're like, you're savant. You're like, oh. You're like, wow, she's doing equations in her head. MC square. And what? You're like, yes, the light pi is, things like that. But and it's just about you truly understanding yourself, understanding people, and being there for each other because we need each other. Community, we need each other, Queen. We do. Showing up in our differences. And it doesn't matter in our love for one another, showing I see you. And I know it's been hard, but I'm going to show you the way. See, the lack of effective communication, what it does is it destroys relationships. It might keep certain relationships that should not be going on. So it'll destroy good ones. For instance, maybe saying something you should have said, or the other person saying something you should have said, and then you're going to say something to hurt that person. So I got to get the last word because, I just can't have you talking crazy to me. You're like, wait, what? Don't you guys love each other? Yeah, but you can't be talking crazy to me. So whoever hurts each other more wins. Whoever gets the last say wins. Well, that's why your mother's stupid. You're like, wait, what? Well, that's why such and such. You're like, wait, what? Is that how you always felt? Like, why would you say that? That's poor communication. That's ineffective communication. That's not communication. That's horrible. Destroying in those last words resonate with that person, stick with that person where they're like, I don't see you the same anymore because what you said really hurt me. It broke me. And you're like, well, the heat of the moment, you were saying things, I was saying things. You're like, time out. No, we got to learn to step away. And trust me, I know. Do you know how many times I've been in that in the past? And you could feel it. It's like word vomit. Like you get real hot and you're like, I can't believe. And you just start going off. But we have to learn how to walk away. Walking away is powerful, y'all. That's effective communication too. Walking away from an argument before it gets worse is effective communication. You know why? Because you're having the emotional intelligence and the clarity to understand. You're listening to understand that this is going to get worse. I'm bowing out gracefully. I'm out. Hey, look, when you calm down, because I'm about to go there too. When you calm down, we'll circle back. But right now, you're not in a good place. You're lacking emotional intelligence, and it's not good. So I'm leaving. And then when you calm down, you get yourself together, we can reconvene. Until then, I'm out. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. And again, sometimes you weren't brought up that way. Sometimes you saw nothing but arguments, screaming, yelling, maybe hitting. No. It's not supposed to be that way. You're like, it was always yelling in my house. That's just how we were raised. That's just what we do. You're like, it shouldn't be like that. And you're growing up as a child. Imagine as a child, just the clutter in your head. And just, as a child, you're just trying to understand and you're just trying to maneuver and make sure everyone's good. It's just wrong, wrong. And I understand if it's passed down trauma, but someone's got to break this vicious cycle. And powerfully her, Queen, you can do it. Okay? And then back to the relationships, maybe with people that you do love and just saying the wrong thing, then it breaks it up because what stuck on me is what you just said to me and I can't get over it. You're like, I'm sorry, but that sorry is not going to do anything. Because the thing about sorry is, and when we hurt someone or someone hurts us, is the apology might be accepted, but the pain is still there. And I don't have to move on. I can move on, but it doesn't mean I have to forgive you and allow you in my life. So that's another thing. So that's why we want to have effective communication, to listen to what is being said. First of all, when we're listening to God, God is going to be like, stop, walk away. Do not continue like this. God is going to say, go. God is going to say, shut this down and leave because it's going to get worse. The devil's going to love it. He's like, no, keep going. Yeah, and you should also say that's why his father left. You should also say that's why he don't know who his father is. You should also say, you should also say you hate his sister. You should also say, yeah, tell him his mother is so stupid that even, and you're just like, yeah. No, don't do that. Don't. Why? If you love this person, why are you trying to hurt them? Right? And the same thing goes for that person. He's like, well, time out. I'm going to walk away because this is wrong. Maybe significant other, maybe a spouse, maybe just with family members, siblings, whatever it is. We've all been there. And there's so many fights that I've had that I really wish did not happen. I really do. I've learned from it. We've grown. We're actually closer from it. And we had to see sides of ourselves we didn't think existed. But it's not worth it. It really isn't. It's not for those that you love. It is not okay to go down that road for people you love. It's not. That's why we have to try to think good things about each other and say good things. But again, that goes to listening to God. God's going to tell you, stop. People you care about, you love, think good things about them. Don't try to hurt them. Don't say mean things. Don't. God's going to tell you that. That's why we have to listen to him first. The devil, have at it. He wants you to go crazy. Destroy everything. He's like, burn everything. Burn every relationship. Who cares? Those people are there for you. They love you. Who cares? They shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have said that. So you got to hurt them more. No. If it's coming from a loving place, no, don't. Listen to God. Walk away. Listen. Have the emotional intelligence. Get the clarity from the situation and know that the clarity also will come once you are both able to be separate and then get yourselves together, and then you can come back. But this is not working, right? And that's when it's coming from a loving place. And then if that person grew up with trauma and toxicity, you both are going at it with each other because you both both were not taught effective communication. So you both are butting heads because you're both babies. You both were unfortunately given a wrong way of being growing up. And now you're at a place where it's just like, okay, we're adults. This is what we've seen. This is what works. It doesn't work. How you know it's not working is because it's not getting better. It's not getting better. That's how you know something's not working. If it's not getting better, it is not working. And that's with everything, y'all. Everything, queens. Everything. If anything in your life is not getting better, it's not working. Power in the pivot. Do something about it. You deserve peace. How are you going to have your power and your peace when you keep doing the same things, expecting different results, right? That's not working. Okay? So that's what you got to remember. Or then wrong relationships with the wrong person. You guys are not suited well for one another, and we're going at it. We're arguing. You're not right for one another. So this is why you're butting heads. That an ineffective communication is happening because you're wrong for one another. You're wrong. So each button this person's pushing is just because if you love someone, this is the thing. If you love someone, you're not going to do things to hurt them. And they're not going to do things to hurt you. And sometimes going back to what is your love language is teaching people, effectively communicating how you love, how you like to be loved on, or how you love to be loved on. You listen to yourself. You're like, you know what? I don't like that. Like, for instance, not every woman likes flowers, right? Maybe you're like, I don't like flowers. Instead, you could just make me a nice dinner at home. I don't even want to go to the fine dining. You and I having a nice candlelight dinner. I don't need to be out. I like just candlelight, me and you. Just cuddled up on the couch, watching Netflix, something, whatever it is. What is your love language? How do you communicate that? Listen to what you like instead of what the world is telling you what love looks like. What does it look like for you? Listen, have an emotional intelligence. And then that person that loves you is just like, okay, you know what? I notice that she likes this. I notice she likes when I make a bubble bath for her. I notice that she likes that when I take the trash out. I notice that she likes when I put my shoes away and the kids' shoes away. I know that she likes when I organize this. But when you love someone, you have the emotional intelligence. You care to have the emotional intelligence to what they love. So it's so many things that we have to go through. And it's a lifelong thing, effective communication. We're not going to always get it right. That just doesn't even make sense. We're perfect. We're not AI. It's an ongoing thing, but it's worth it, y'all. It's worth it, queens, because you're worth it. You are worth it. I remember two of my clients I could think of because they both were very introverted. And these are powerful women, right? And they both worked in the New York locations. So 2 New York locations that we had. And they had about teams over about 200, which is crazy, over 200. And they were wonderful women, but they were very introverted to the point that they would not communicate with their team. So they were like the office leadership. And they were always in the office, schedules done, everything when it comes to the hard skills, they were exceptional at. When it came to the soft skills, they weren't meeting their mark. So their team had really bad morale. The team didn't feel supported. The team didn't ever hear them speak because they were such introverted women. And it's funny because they weren't the same person, but it seemed like they were the same person because they were so quiet. And I'm not quiet, as you can see. And so when I took them on as clients, it was so funny. So my first client, I had her introduce herself, and she spoke really low. She was just like, introducing herself, and it was so low. I was just like, oh, no, 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 no. I was like, no. I had to cut her off. I was like, no, 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 no. Louder, speak. I said, no one can hear you. No one can hear you. I'm next to you. I can't hear you. So louder. And she was like, my name is, I was like, good. So we're going to work on that again. I said, and why? Is because you're powerful. And I respect everyone being introverted, extroverted. I don't have an issue with that. What the concern is that you're a leader and your team doesn't even hear your voice. That's a problem. Who's running the team if you're not there? I'm like, if you are just in the office and you're running the team that way, I'm like, no, you need to speak. And why aren't you not speaking? You have a lovely voice. Why aren't you speaking? And she's like, oh, well, I was like, well, don't worry. I'm going to get you right. And she did. And I remember telling her, so funny, because again, a lot of us are not shown. But I had explained to her, so when you're talking to someone, be so invested in them than yourself. Again, we're all conditioned to talk about ourselves like, I. I'm like, that's boring. I don't want to talk about myself all day. I don't. I'm interested in you, queen. I'm interested in your story. I don't want to talk about me all day. For what? I already know my story. Okay, let's talk about you. And then you find a commonality. So when you're interested, when someone's talking about them, you're asking really great questions because you care. Like your eyes are lighting, like, oh my God, it's amazing. Then you can tie in your story with theirs. And then the connection starts to happen. You're like, okay, tell me about yourself. And you're like, oh my God, I have 2 sisters. You're like, wow, that's great. Then at that moment, you're like, oh, I have 2 sisters. Wait, just let them finish. And let them keep talking about themselves. And then you're like, that's so cool. I have a sister too, or I have sisters, this and that. Listening to what they're saying, not just glaze over like, wait, what? Like you don't recall anything they're saying. Listen Listen to people, eye contact, look at people. That's another thing about effective communication is eye contact. That's emotional intelligence too. If I'm talking in a podcast and I'm like, yeah, so, it'd be really great if you're like, she doesn't care about us. I'm not listening to this. I'm not going to subscribe. But that's not the case because, I see you. So I ain't going to do that. And that's disrespectful. Give people good eye contact. Even if you're an introvert, show people, see them. Okay? It's respect. And you want someone to look you in the eyes too, right? In here, right? So I helped her with that among many things. And she did amazing. And she's a butterfly. She's wonderful. And now she has an incredible life. She's a baby. And it's just great. So I love those stories. And similar. I have a lot of women, a lot of my clients are introverted. But, and then we're done with me, sometimes that little extroverted comes down, but, and lifelong clients as well, which is great. But, yeah, it's a similar thing. My other client, she's the same way, very introverted. She had more of a smaller team. Well, she was actually in a store that was in the city as well. And then she came to me, but the both of them were both struggling because they were having so many issues. Again, so good with the hard skills, but missing the soft skills, they were no longer in their location. So me being who I am, I'm their coach. I got them, and showing them there's a way, because you know what it is? A lot of people, a lot of women, they didn't believe in themselves. My second client had very, very low self-esteem. The first one didn't. She was just introverted because she knew she was a queen. She was one of those, she was such an intellect that she failed to express what was in her brain to other people so they could connect with her. So she's a big brainiac. So I'm like, that's cool, but connection. People are not understanding you because you're on a totally different frequency and you need to bring it back to the human. Okay, you're not AI. Hello. And that's what I told her. I'm like, what are you doing? But her confidence, she didn't have confidence issues. She just had an effective communication issue. They both did. But my second client, she definitely had low self-esteem, extreme low self-esteem, like extreme low self-esteem. Like she was in a really bad relationship and it was bad. And I'm like, yeah. So I see how these are both connected. This is why your personal and professional life are the way they are, because you don't value you. And that needs to change 100%, because this is not okay. It's not okay. And I'm like, and you need to be sick of it. You need to be sick of how this is. You have to get so bothered with your current situation if you don't like it. When something's bothering me, it stays in my mind. And like all of us all the time, especially as women, we're emotional beings. So it stays in us because we want things right. We want things right. But effective communication allows you to, hey, remember, speak up. Speak up. I need help. Excuse me. Most of the times, me and my husband, if we have any type of disagreement, it's because I'm not communicating. It's because maybe something I didn't tell him. And he's like, babe, you're supposed to tell me we're a team. And he's right. So that's why it's very important. Effectively communicate. Listen to God, queens. Listen to yourself. Okay? Have the emotional intelligence. Pay attention to the social cues of yourself, and you will get clarity. And know to show up for you, because you deserve to have a life that's worth it. And that's why I would love for you to be on the live event. Look at me, I'm passionate, I would love for you to be on the live event, because I would love to be able to see you and to feel you. And so if you are struggling with this, I could help get you there, because you deserve to have that. And like I said, those clients are still working with me, because I understand how it feels. And sometimes we need someone to just the accountability and a support piece. We need that. Not everyone has that. But with me, I'm here to support you in that way. Okay? So no matter what, queens, I want you, no matter what, to start working on you and effectively communicate. And if you would love to be on the live event, and like I said, you are an event, click the link below and sign up, and I will see you there. But to the same point, don't ever forget you are powerfully heard. You are more than enough. You're more than enough. And it's about It's about time you start acting like it. Okay? So always remember, forever forward, never backwards. That's the other part I forgot to say that one of my biggest mentors said. Forever forward, never backwards. And that you are more than enough. You're worth more than gold. You're created from greatness. So therefore greatness lives in you. So it's about time you start activating your greatness. Activation. Let's activate it. And until next time, I'll see you. And God willing, inshallah, episode 23. All right. Until next time. Bye.